The closer that you can be to the customer, the better marketing you can do.
Welcome back to Marketing Conversations with Lamp House Films, where we give you direct access to tips and insights from today's marketing thought leaders. Marketing is such a big part of today's world, and at Lamp House, we think that how we do it really matters. That's why we create the ads that we do, and that's why we produce this show. We have a great episode in store for you. We're talking to Andrew Mock, the CMO for the car sharing app Turo. It's brilliant, and so is Andrew. He has been honored as one of Ad Age's 40 Under 40 and on Forbes' CMO Next list. If you're new to the show, check out the link in the description to get more episodes like this and special bonus content right in your inbox. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. So, Andrew, for those of us who don't know, tell us a little bit about Turo.
Yeah, sure. So Turo is the world's largest peer-to-peer car sharing marketplace. I think a lot of folks like to call us the Airbnb for cars. As the marketing person, I like to think about Airbnb as the Turo for homes. But same deal. Gets the job done. We were founded back in 2010, so we've been around for just over 10 years now. We have almost 20 million signups. We've got hundreds of thousands of cars listed around the U.S., Canada, and the U.K. And yeah, it's a really, really fun company and a great kind of alternative to other car sharing and other traditional car rental alternatives.
Yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to chat with you about, because it does almost seem like it's an evolution where like maybe Turo would be a little harder to sell if people hadn't already come to terms with Airbnb and then Uber. But I feel like each of these services has had their own battles. I mean, everybody knows the story about like Airbnb trying to raise capital. Like it's hard to defend before it's an established thing. And
yeah,
I feel like you guys are sort of in that same like space where before you mentioned it, I didn't even realize that competition to Turo existed. Like you guys are, I feel like, pretty clearly the dominant voice here. And so you're needing to do a lot of educating while trying to sell. So what is that like from the marketing side?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really fun challenge. One of our company values is, we think about ourselves as pioneers, as pioneering something completely new. And in many ways, that's what innovation is, right? Like that's what invention is. It's doing something that everybody thinks it's crazy and everybody thinks is weird until it becomes normal. And that's in many ways, I think what we've been building here at Turo is just kind of making this concept of peer-to-peer car sharing normal. And I think part of what has driven this is just the fact that we offer something that's so different in the market. So let's talk about, we call it the host and the guest. So the hosts are the car owners, the guests are the folks who book the car. On the guest side, it's a very, very different value proposition that we offer versus traditional car rental. Traditional car rental is sort of like compact economy, it's a commoditized experience. It's like, it's the last part of your trip that you think about planning. For Turo, it's interesting cars. We like to say you have everything from A3 to Z4. You've got the Cadillac Eldorado, you've got the Tesla Model 3. We've actually just got the new Ford Bronco 2021 Sport Edition.
Oh, cool.
Really, really hard to find. And we were the first place where you can actually get access to it. So it's about, turning this thing that people used to think about as a commodity into more of a central part of your travel experience. And then on the host side, it's creating an economic platform, like Etsy, like Shopify. We create economic opportunity for people who are looking to share one car to just offset the cost of car ownership, to sharing multiple cars and creating a bit of a small business and generate sort of financial freedom, economic opportunity for themselves and their family. So we've created this really, really powerful platform. And so I think over time, as we educate people about it, it's going to become less weird, less strange, and more normal.
So which of those two things are you leading with? So I imagine that the majority of your marketing is not going to speak to both of these people at the same time, the hosts and the guests, that you're sort of targeting one or the other. Do you sort of go for the hosts and hoping that they'll help get the message out to the guests, or are you guys sort of like pushing equal weight in both places?
Yeah, it's great question. We kind of think about it as, our collective customer is the guest, and so in many ways, a lot of the brand campaigns, more of the brand forward stuff that we do is about appealing to the guests on the platform. Ultimately those are the customers who will be transacting.
Mm.
And we think about our hosts, the supply side, as essentially business partners. These
Mm.
are folks who we work alongside to provide amazing guest experiences, to provide an amazing community, to provide an efficient marketplace for our guests. That being said, as you can imagine, because this is such a new concept, particularly for the host side, like I mentioned, it's this idea of sharing your car is
Mm.
strange to most people. There's a lot of market education that we need to do.
Yeah.
So what we do on that side is, we really try to be targeted about what is the audience that we want to speak to there, and what is the message that we want to get across to them.
Yeah.
And the audience tends to be, it's car enthusiasts, it's people who are looking for, small business opportunities. It's folks in the, I don't know if you've heard of this community called FIRE, Financial
Mm.
Independence, Retire Early. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
folks
Yeah.
who are
Yeah.
looking for sort of like, building side businesses, building wealth on the side
Mm.
to kind of, be able to get financial freedom and retire early. So that's the audience that we really focus on the host side. And we educate them about this opportunity through content marketing, through telling stories about our host, and a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw on your Instagram, the first thing that you're linking are these blogs to story, at least at the time, to stories about other hosts, which I thought was interesting that you were sort of leading with that content marketing. Is that a big part of, I assume that's there just so that people who are sort of nervous about it can read a little bit more and be like, oh, wow, this is actually working really great for people.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you checked out our Instagram. I encourage all your listeners to check out our Turo Instagram as well. It's some awesome, amazing content
Mm-hmm.
on there. Um, I think the way that we like to think about it is that our brand is really a window into the stories of our hosts and guests. It's a
Mm.
window into the stories of our community. We don't want, if our brand is dominating the conversation or it's front and center and we're trying to push it, that's not what we want to be. We want it to be a window into our community, because ultimately that's what powers the marketplace. It's,
Mm.
our brand is there, we're facilitating it, but it's really the host, it's the guests, it's the stories that come about from both sides of the marketplace. That's really what's important. And coincidentally, that's also, what resonates the most from a marketing standpoint. They don't really want to hear all that much about Turo. They want to hear about, Dennis in Miami, who, used to be a pro football player and now he's running his own small car sharing business on the side, or, guest stories of people who are traveling with their families or they're getting access to unique cars. I mean, those are really the things that I think people want to hear about. And I think that's how our brand resonates with people. And I think at the same time, getting back to what we were talking about, this idea of educating the market, validating the concept, it's social proof, right? You see
Mm-hmm.
real people using it. You see, it's not some stranger giving you your car. Suddenly it's Justin and Megan in Denver who are sharing their Jeep. It's real people. And so I think all of these things, collectively, that's sort of what our brand strategy has been. And it goes, I think, a long way in kind of educating people about the market and getting people comfortable with peer-to-peer car sharing.
So how are you guys going about finding those people who will be the early adopters to this new concept? So you had said that your market for your guests is all about specialty cars or specific experiences with cars. So how are you finding those people to get in front of them?
Well, I think actually in the early days, so probably 2010, 2015, it was more of the kind of early adopter audience, which is folks who, tend to be a little bit younger and they want to experience something a bit new and they're kind of more tech forward. But I would say over the last few years, almost all of the growth has been propelled more by kind of the mainstream use
Hmm.
cases. And it's sort of cracking more into the mainstream now, and it's not really just the early adopters. And I think what's appealing to folks in the mainstream is not only do you get the selection of vehicles, you get the interesting Porsche Speedsters or whatever, but we also have all sorts of every other car, right? You
Mm-hmm.
can get access to a Toyota Prius. Honda Civic is actually one of our most booked cars, and
Mm.
so I think folks like this idea of they know exactly what car they're going to get, whether it's a Jeep Wrangler in Hawaii or it's a four-wheel drive in Denver. They know what they're going to get and they can expect it, and it's not some sort of surprise vehicle. And I think folks really like the convenience of the experience. It's not traditional car rental kind of sitting there and getting upcharged and signing paperwork and standing in line. It's everything is on your phone, everything is on your app. You're getting a very personalized experience, one-on-one communication with the host who's giving you, providing you the car. It's we have a feature called Turo Go where actually you can lock and unlock the car directly on the app. So you actually don't need to meet anybody. You can just unlock the car, show up, unlock the car with your app. So all of these things combined, I think, you got unique selection, you've got a much more convenient experience. I think that has actually really allowed us to propel into the mainstream.
Was that a jump that you guys took consciously? Like, were you like, okay, we've been at this for a few years, it's time for us to take the leap away from those early adopters and into the mainstream? Or is that something that you sort of saw evolve?
It wasn't really kind of a conscious decision. I mean, I think it's really the evolution of the marketplace. In many ways, the way that we've sort of thought about managing the marketplace is observing what's happening and taking the cues from our users. So I'll give you an example of this. So in the early days of the business, the only location option we had was you get the car at the home or whatever is the car location. So the car is located 3 blocks. The guest walks 3 blocks, gets the car. That's what it is. We found that actually many of our hosts were being quite innovative, and they were saying, "Hey, if you don't want to come to the car location, I'll deliver the car to you for an extra $20. Just pay me $20 in cash." And this was growing very, very quickly, and we didn't even know this was happening in the beginning. We didn't have any feature to enable it, and it grew to be, I think, 10-15% of our business. And we were like, "Hey, we need to do something about this. We need to make this easier." And so we introduced the delivery feature, and so now you can get the car delivered to you. There's all these settings where the host can decide what the delivery fee is, what their delivery radius is, how far they'll deliver it. And it's now actually a huge part of our business is delivery. So so there's a lot of you create this marketplace, you allow it to be open, and then you just observe what's happening. Your users are going to tell you what they like and what they'll actually use, and then it's up to us to notice it and then to turn that into a feature and to sort of standardize it.
That's the thing that I feel like is like the staple of every good marketer that I've spoken to. It's just like, how closely are you listening to the people that you're serving, and how quickly can you adapt to create the features that they really want?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's sort of the fundamentals of marketing. It's marketing 101. You got to listen to your customers, and the more in tune you are with your customers, and the more that you're thinking about yourself as a customer focused brand, as a customer focused company, you're never going to go wrong with that.
Thanks for watching another episode of Marketing Conversations with Lamphouse Films. Make sure to subscribe to our mailing list below for special bonus content, including a really interesting deep dive that Andrew and I did into one of Turo's biggest ad campaigns. Thanks for watching.